Have you ever woken up after what felt like a full night's sleep, only to feel just as tired as when you went to bed? It's a frustrating experience, dragging yourself through the day, battling a heavy-lidded feeling of exhaustion that coffee can't seem to fix. You might chalk it up to stress, a busy schedule, or just the demands of modern life. This feeling of being perpetually drained has become so common that many of us simply accept it as our new normal, never stopping to ask if this profound fatigue is trying to tell us something more. As a guide dedicated to making health information accessible and understandable, I've seen how easily we can dismiss the subtle cues our bodies provide. We tend to normalize feeling tired, pushing through the day fueled by willpower and caffeine. The purpose of this video is to explore a different perspective. We're going to look at daytime drowsiness, not as a personal failing or an unavoidable part of life, but as a potentially valuable piece of information. This is a purely educational discussion designed to help you become a more attentive observer of your own well-being without creating any alarm. The common belief is that feeling very sleepy during the day or needing frequent naps is just a sign of being tired, getting old, or maybe even being a little lazy. However, we are going to reframe that idea. The central thesis of our discussion is that persistent, significant changes in your sleep and energy patterns can be important messages from your body about its internal balance. Excessive daytime sleepiness isn't just about sleep. It can be an external indicator of silent, internal processes related to your metabolic, cardiovascular, or even your respiratory systems, developing gradually and without obvious symptoms. Over the next few minutes, we will explore this concept through three distinct informational topics. We will examine how the quality of your breathing at night, the underlying health of your cardiovascular system, and the way your body manages energy after a meal can all manifest as that familiar feeling of fatigue. By the end of our time together, you will have a clearer understanding of these connections. The goal here is not to cause worry, but to empower you with knowledge, turning the simple act of noticing how you feel into a powerful tool for self-awareness. If you find value in clear, responsible explanations that help foster a better understanding of our bodies, I invite you to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Your engagement helps ensure that educational content like this can reach more people who are looking for reliable information. It supports our mission to share knowledge that empowers rather than alarms. Now, with that said, let's delve into our first topic and examine the connection between daytime drowsiness and what happens when you're asleep at night, specifically the quality of your breathing. Let's begin with our first topic by examining a very specific signal: excessive daytime sleepiness. This isn't about feeling a little tired after a long day or a particularly demanding week. We are talking about a profound sense of drowsiness that seems to follow you around, regardless of how much time you spend in bed. It's the feeling of needing a long nap, not just for a quick boost, but as a near necessity to function. This kind of sleepiness can feel heavy and persistent, making it difficult to feel fully awake and engaged with your day. This signal often manifests in subtle yet disruptive ways throughout your daily routine. You might find your mind wandering during important conversations, or struggling to maintain focus on a task at work. It can show up as constant deep yawning that you can't seem to suppress, or that overwhelming urge to close your eyes while reading a book or watching television. For many, it's the experience of nodding off in passive situations, such as in a quiet meeting or as a passenger in a car, which can be both frustrating and concerning when it happens frequently. One of the most defining characteristics of this particular signal is that the sleepiness persists even after you believe you've had a full 7 or 8 hours of sleep. You go to bed at a reasonable hour. You sleep through the night without any obvious interruptions, yet you wake up feeling as though you barely rested at all. This unrefreshing quality of sleep is a key part of the puzzle. It creates a confusing paradox where you are technically meeting the recommended sleep duration, but you are not reaping any of the restorative benefits you would normally expect. So why is a signal like this so often underestimated or simply ignored? A major reason is cultural normalization. In our fast-paced society, feeling exhausted is often seen as a badge of honor, a sign of hard work and dedication. We tend to blame our fatigue on external factors, like a demanding job, family responsibilities, or the general stress of modern life. It's incredibly common to hear someone say, "Of course I'm tired, I've had a busy week," effectively treating this profound drowsiness as an unavoidable inconvenience, rather than a meaningful symptom worth exploring. This normalization leads to a common pattern of behavior. We try to manage the symptom rather than understand the message. We reach for another cup of coffee, an energy drink, or simply try to power through the exhaustion with sheer willpower. The underlying sleepiness is treated as a problem to be solved with a quick fix, a personal challenge to overcome. By doing this, we inadvertently dismiss what our body might be trying to communicate. We categorize it as a simple lack of energy, overlooking the possibility that it's connected to a more complex underlying physiological process. It is helpful to reframe this experience. Instead of viewing persistent daytime drowsiness as a personal failing or a sign of laziness, consider it as a valuable piece of information. Your body has an intricate system of signals designed to maintain balance and alert you to potential issues. Profound fatigue that doesn't align with your sleep habits or daily activities isn't just a feeling, it's a data point. It's an observable sign that something about your body's internal environment may be out of sync, particularly during the crucial hours you spend asleep each night. This powerful need to sleep often becomes most apparent during moments of low stimulation. When you're actively engaged in the physical or highly interactive task, adrenaline can help you push through. However, the moment you sit down for a quiet activity, the underlying sleepiness can surface with surprising intensity. This is why nodding off while reading, during a movie, or in a lecture is such a common experience for those affected. It's in these moments of stillness that the body's true state of exhaustion, which was being masked by activity, finally makes itself known. It's also important to distinguish between feeling tired and feeling sleepy. Feeling tired is often a pleasant, expected sensation after physical exertion or a mentally taxing day. It's a feeling of depletion that is resolved with rest. Excessive sleepiness, on the other hand, is a neurological state, an overwhelming, often uncontrollable need to fall asleep that can occur even without significant exertion. This is the key difference. One is a natural consequence of using energy, while the other is a persistent state that interferes with your ability to live your life fully, regardless of your recent activity. Recognizing this signal is the first step. You've noticed that despite sleeping for what seems like enough time, you feel a deep, persistent need for more sleep during the day. You see how it impacts your focus and your ability to stay alert. The logical question that follows is, if the problem isn't the quantity of sleep, what else could be going on? This leads us to consider the quality of your sleep, and more specifically, what is happening with your breathing from one moment to the next, while you are completely unaware. This leads us to the silent process that is often connected to such profound daytime fatigue, a condition known as obstructive sleep apnea. This condition is characterized by repeated, brief interruptions of breathing during sleep. It's a mechanical issue, where the muscles in the back of your throat, which naturally relax during sleep, relax too much. This can cause the soft tissue to collapse and temporarily block your upper airway. The word silent is key here, because these events happen while you are completely unconscious, leaving you with no memory of the nightly struggle your body endures. Each time the airway becomes blocked, your breathing stops for a short period, typically for 10 to 30 seconds, and sometimes longer. As a result, the oxygen level in your blood begins to fall. Your brain, which is highly sensitive to any drop in oxygen, recognizes this as a life-threatening situation. It sends out a powerful emergency signal, a jolt of adrenaline, that briefly pulls you out of deep sleep. This micro-arousal tightens the throat muscles, reopens the airway, and allows you to take a breath, often with a gasp, snort, or choking sound. The crucial part of this process is that these awakenings are incredibly brief, lasting only a few seconds. They are just long enough to restore normal breathing, but not long enough for you to become fully conscious. Consequently, in the morning, you have no recollection of these repeated arousals. A person with moderate to severe sleep apnea can experience hundreds of these episodes every single night. This creates a dangerous disconnect. You believe you've had a solid, uninterrupted night of rest, while your body has actually been in a recurring state of emergency, fighting for air hour after hour. This constant interruption fundamentally disrupts the natural architecture of your sleep. Healthy sleep progresses through several stages, including light sleep, deep, slow wave sleep, and REM sleep. The deepest stages are where the most critical restorative processes for your body and brain occur, such as tissue repair, memory consolidation, and hormone regulation. Because the micro-awakenings from apnea pull you back into lighter stages of sleep, your brain is consistently prevented from reaching and remaining in these vital, rejuvenating phases. You spend the night cycling through the shallowest stages, never getting the deep rest you need. As a result, even though you may have been in bed for a full 7, 8, or even 9 hours, the quality of that sleep is profoundly compromised. You wake up feeling unrefreshed because, on a physiological level, you are severely sleep deprived. Your body and brain have not completed their essential overnight maintenance tasks. This lack of restorative sleep is the direct cause of the overwhelming daytime drowsiness, the difficulty with concentration, and the heavy feeling of exhaustion that no amount of willpower seems to be able to overcome. It's a debt that accumulates night after night. Obstructive sleep apnea often develops gradually over many years. It can be linked to factors such as aging, genetics, and anatomy, but is very commonly associated with weight gain, as excess tissue around the neck can narrow the airway. In its early stages, it might only manifest as light snoring or a minor feeling of tiredness. Because the progression is so slow, you may adapt to feeling progressively more fatigued, accepting it as a normal part of getting older or being stressed. This slow, creeping onset is a primary reason why the condition can go undiagnosed for so long. This gradual development fosters a false sense of security. Since you are not consciously aware of the breathing interruptions, you don't report any sleep problems to your doctor. You might mention feeling tired, but this is such a common complaint that it can be attributed to countless other lifestyle factors. Even a bed partner might only notice snoring, which is often dismissed as a harmless, albeit annoying, habit. The absence of a clear dramatic symptom like chest pain or a high fever means the underlying condition continues its silent progression, impacting your health without you ever realizing the root cause. A lack of awareness is the central challenge. You feel the consequence, the profound exhaustion, but you are completely disconnected from the cause, which is happening during a time when you are most vulnerable and least aware. You might logically conclude that you just need more sleep or stronger coffee or a less stressful job. This leads to attempts to manage the symptom rather than investigate the source. The reality is that the feeling of exhaustion is not the problem itself. It is a critical signal pointing to a significant disruption happening within your body every single night. Understanding this connection between nighttime breathing and daytime energy is a crucial first step. It reframes persistent drowsiness, not as a personal failure, but as a valid physiological signal. This now brings us to a practical question. Are there common, everyday choices we make that might, without our knowledge, be contributing to this problem? Let's explore how a very normalized and seemingly harmless evening ritual could be creating a hidden risk, potentially making these nightly breathing interruptions even worse and intensifying the cycle of fatigue. This brings us to a common decision, a nightly ritual that many people adopt with the best of intentions. Having an alcoholic drink, often called a nightcap, or taking certain types of muscle relaxers to help unwind and fall asleep more easily. This practice is widely normalized in our culture, seen as a harmless way to de-stress after a long day and signal to the body that it's time to rest. The belief is that it promotes relaxation and leads to better sleep. However, for someone with an underlying and undiagnosed tendency toward airway collapse, this seemingly benign choice can create a significant hidden risk. The physiological effect of these substances is central to understanding the unintended consequence. Alcohol is a depressant that relaxes muscles throughout the body, including the muscles that line your pharynx or throat. Similarly, certain medications designed to alleviate muscle tension have the same systemic effect. While this relaxation might feel calming and conducive to sleep initially, it critically reduces the tone of the very muscles responsible for keeping your upper airway open and stable while you are unconscious. This effect makes the airway far more susceptible to narrowing or collapsing completely during the night, setting the stage for a more difficult breathing environment. For an individual with obstructive sleep apnea, this added relaxation of the throat muscles can be particularly problematic. It can transform what might have been mild or moderate episodes of breathing interruption into more frequent, longer, and more severe ones. The airway, already prone to collapse, now has even less structural support. The very thing you are using to supposedly improve your sleep is in fact intensifying the underlying mechanical problem. The result is a night filled with even more micro-awakenings, more drops in blood oxygen, and a greater strain on your entire system, all happening while you remain completely unaware. This increased fragmentation of sleep has a direct and powerful impact on how you feel the next day. The profound lack of restorative deep sleep means you will likely experience even more severe daytime drowsiness, a more pronounced difficulty with concentration, and a heavier sense of fatigue. You might wake up feeling even less refreshed than usual, puzzled as to why your sleep aid isn't working as you had hoped. This can create a dangerous cycle where the perceived solution is actually exacerbating the problem, leading you to believe you need more help to sleep, not less. The hidden risk lies in this disconnect between intention and outcome. You are making a logical choice based on a common belief that a drink or a relaxant will help you rest better. But without understanding the underlying mechanics of your sleep quality, you may be unintentionally worsening a silent condition. This demonstrates how a normalized everyday decision can carry unforeseen consequences, highlighting the importance of understanding not just that you feel tired, but exploring the complex reasons why. It underscores the value of looking beyond the symptom to understand the entire system at play. As we conclude our discussion, let's return to the central idea we began with. The main thesis of our time together has been to reframe how we view common signals like daytime drowsiness and fatigue. Instead of dismissing them as simple tiredness, a sign of aging, or a lack of willpower, we can learn to see them as valuable pieces of information, important messages from your body about its internal balance. The goal has been to shift your perspective from one of passive acceptance to one of active and informed observation, turning your own experience into a powerful tool for awareness. Throughout our journey, we explored three key connections. We saw how profound daytime sleepiness, despite a full night in bed, can be a signal related to the quality of your breathing at night, as seen in conditions like obstructive sleep apnea. We discussed how persistent deep fatigue that doesn't improve with rest can be linked to the silent, continuous effort of your cardiovascular system. And we examined how a sudden energy crash after a meal can be an indicator of how your body is managing its energy and blood sugar, potentially pointing to metabolic imbalances like insulin resistance. The purpose of sharing this information is not to create anxiety or encourage self-diagnosis. Instead, it is to empower you with knowledge. By understanding the potential connections between these external signals and your internal health, you become a more engaged participant in your own well-being. This awareness allows you to notice patterns, ask more informed questions, and appreciate the intricate ways your body communicates its needs. True empowerment comes from understanding, which transforms uncertainty and confusion into clarity and a sense of control over your health journey, guided by knowledge rather than by fear. It is essential to remember that this video serves as educational content only and is not a substitute for professional medical advice. For reliable, in-depth, and up-to-date health information, it is always best to consult official sources, such as the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, and the National Institutes of Health, NIH. Most importantly, any specific symptoms, concerns, or personal health decisions should always be discussed directly with a qualified healthcare professional who can provide guidance tailored to your individual circumstances. They are your most important partner in managing your health. Thank you for investing your time and attention to explore these important topics with us today. By seeking to understand the signals your body sends, you are taking a significant step toward greater self-awareness and proactive well-being. We hope this discussion has provided you with a clear and useful framework for observing your own energy patterns with a new perspective. Continue to listen to your body with curiosity and care, and remember that being informed is one of the most powerful things you can do to support your long-term health and vitality.